I have always felt a part of this family. I grew up with Susie and Wendy, my best friends since kindergarten. I just fell in love with her older brother. But I still call her Mom.
And I still love her. I may not get through this, but I'm going to try. Jim's here. We think Mike was born electrician. He would collect all of the TV and radio tubes he could and take them down the street where there was a man who would test your tubes for free. Most people would bring in just a few tubes to test for free, but Mike turned up with about 50 or 60 tubes for him to test. The man was so nice, he checked them all, and then he called me. I was so embarrassed. Talk about free trade. Grandma Schultz had an antique clock made of cherry wood. We treasured it, and I kept it on the mantel. Mike would sneak in after school and work on picking it apart until he had piles and piles of screws and nuts, parts of all kinds. We ended up finding a clockmaker, and luckily he was able to put it together again. Many years later, that same clock was stolen from Mike's apartment in Minneapolis and never recovered. How sad. When he was 3 years old, he didn't like cars and trucks like other boys. He would go to bed with 5 or 6 electrical cords wrapped around him. That's true. That went on from time to time. He was 3 until he reached the ripe old age of 5 or 6. We lived in Des Moines, Iowa. When he was 5 years old and in kindergarten, some apparatus in the music room, the record player, gave out. Mike volunteered to fix it. He asked the teacher how many amps it would carry. She didn't know what he meant. He went home and picked up the tools he needed and proceeded to fix the record player. It never quit working again. Mike was then put in charge of the music department of the kindergarten. When he was 5 years old and still in kindergarten, he asked for a tension cord for Christmas. He couldn't pronounce extension cord. We gave him a big allowance of 10 cents a week. He saved his allowance until he acquired 40 cents, then off to the radio shop to buy a tension cord. Being a telegraph operator myself, I taught him the Morse code, and he used my old telegraph key all along for his ham radio. He had his own ham radio room set up at our house all through school. And when many things he tried, Mike completed his ham radio license requirements, but he was too young to receive it. So he had to suffer a waiting period until he was old enough. He was the youngest ever to get a license, according to his mom. I could go on forever, but it's time to quit. Life was full of exceptions. you for coming and for listening.